Hey, welcome to this LinkedIn Live, everybody. We're going to be talking about the 5 nutrition mistakes surgeons make that result in low energy and muscle loss. So, this whole thing is driven by the content that you're going to find online. And a lot of what you see is going to be what's ideal. But then there's reality, especially when it comes to a surgeon's lifestyle, right? You don't have a normal lifestyle compared to somebody else that works a normal 9 to 5, or even those that are entrepreneurs that work long hours too. Their long hours are going to look different than yours, right? So there's a lot of good general information out there regarding nutrition, but many of it fails surgeons terribly. Yes, things such as meal prepping or being conscious of putting the highest quality of food in your body. Those are great ideas. Your circumstances don't always lend themselves to being able to execute every single time on things like that, right? The demands in your life and your schedule are not the same as everybody else. We need realistic solutions which will help you look, feel, and perform at your absolute best without you having to micromanage your nutrition. Because once you start to have micromanage your nutrition, the likelihood that you sustain that for the long haul drops dramatically. Okay. So mistake number one, you're not feeling up enough on long OR days or long clinic days. I've longest operation I've had any of my surgeons do was 17 hours, and the most amount of patients seen in a day was 45. Okay, for a clinic. It's a long period of time to be on and focused and helping people, and you're not going to have a lot of time to sit down and have a snack or even a meal throughout that day on days like that, right? So making sure that you're fueling up enough in the beginning of the day is really, really important. An example would be like I had a surgeon start working with me that, he wanted to put on more muscle, and his day looked like he would start off with a plant-based protein shake that had about 250 calories in it. He would consume that first thing in the morning after his workout. Then he'd go operate all day long, go home, overconsume food, rinse and repeat. And then he was frustrated with the way that he looked and seeing all the body fat that he accumulated over his frame. And so what we did to restructure that is we started building a bigger breakfast that helps him keep him fueled up for the day, so that he's not, ravenous when he gets home after not only going all that time. Like, just if you just sit there and do nothing for that amount of time and don't eat, that's one thing. But now you remember your brain is a glucose consuming so much glucose throughout the day and taking a lot of energy. You're drained at the end of the day. You're not going to necessarily, at the end of a stressful day, you're not always going to make the best decisions. And that's what was happening, is the stress and the lack of energy, lack of food, led to overconsumption later in the day. So we shifted that when we used the omelet situation laid out here. That was his solution, right? So that's one way you can do it. Another thing you could do like 1.5 cups of Oikos Pro Greek yogurt. The Pro will have a little bit more protein than the 000. I also find the texture to be a little bit thicker, and therefore it's a little bit more satiating than the regular 000. A cup of frozen blueberries, get you some healthy carbs and a little bit of fiber, and a quarter cup of walnuts. And the final option would be sweet and spicy meal from MegaFit Meals. It doesn't have to be the sweet and spicy meal, and it doesn't even have to be MegaFit Meals, but that's just one meal from a MegaFit Meals, which is a company I use for meal delivery service, and I've used for years. They're amazing, great tasting food, very high protein options, and they're excellent for people that don't have a lot of time, that also probably don't enjoy cooking. They want to focus on what they care about the most, and what they care about the most is usually their family and their career. And so if it's not involving those two things, then it's a waste of time. That's how I view it, and that's how a lot of my surgeons look at it too. If you're somebody that likes to cook, then by all means, knock yourself out. Mistake number two, not enough protein. So if you're looking at, I make this really simple. I go with 1 gram. My recommendation is go with 1 gram, because it's easiest to just track and use that number, 1 gram per pound of desired body weight, right? So if you want to weigh 150 pounds, you're trying to consume around 150 grams of protein on a daily basis. Now, research has shown that generally for people that are doing resistance training, anywhere from 0.7 to 1.2 grams per kilogram will be sufficient. Okay. Use 1 gram because it's easy. Okay. It's just very basic math, right? There's nothing that says that that's scientifically better. That's just what I found easier for clients to track. The other thing that makes this easier to follow, because you may be somebody that's not consuming a lot of protein right now, and you might think like using that 150 grams example, you might be like, oh my God, how am I possibly going to get that? I'm only at 85 a day right now. Well, one, we don't have to make that jump to 150 right away. This can be an incremental progression. Two, the more that we build our meals around protein options, so these are protein-centric meals and snacks, the easier it is to meet the needs of on the protein side of things. Okay. So keep that in mind. Start looking at your meals. When you look at it, look at the protein option and then what you build around that protein option rather than looking at it as the meal itself. Like, I want tacos. Well, okay, how about we look at like chicken and we can build the meal around the chicken and have some sort of Mexican dish within that chicken. So it could be tacos, but maybe we use a little bit more chicken than we normally would. Or if we're doing the meal delivery service, we find something that's higher protein based that fits within that desire to have something like tacos or something similar to tacos that you can go ahead and consume and meet your protein needs. Number 3, lack of preparation with quick, easy protein options, right? Again, going back to the idea that you're at OR all day, clinic all day, whatever it might be, don't have a lot of time. Having something to break up, even if it's just 5 minutes, that you can consume quickly and get back to your day, that would be really clutch. Not only will it help you with meeting your protein needs, but it also help with satiety and energy. So Core Power Elite makes an amazing protein shake that's got 42 grams of protein. Highly recommend that. That's converted a lot of people actually that I work with that hated the taste of protein shakes. I haven't met a person that does not like that, and that becomes their go-to. 000 Oikos Greek cup yogurts, 15 grams per cup. You have a couple cups of that, quick, easy. And then Epic Provision jerky bars. These are essentially beef jerky, chicken jerky, turkey jerky, venison jerky bars that range anywhere from 8 to 13 grams of protein per bar. And you can consume them. Now, what has come to market, at least, it's been on the market for a little bit longer than prior to me developing this presentation, but it's new to me, is the David protein bars. I would throw those in the mix as well. Don't quote me, but I want to say 150 calories. I know it's 28 grams of protein per bar. You're not going to find a bar on the market that has a better percentage of calories coming from protein than that bar. I've tried it. It's great. Highly recommend it. Number 4 mistake, trying to meal prep. Okay. Again, if you enjoy cooking, it's therapeutic for you. You want to make time for it. Please do. Majority of people I work with, that's not the case. So outsource your nutrition when it's not with your family. And what I mean by that is generally the surgeons I work with, they'll have at least one, I don't want to say at least, at most, usually one meal with their family per day. The other meal or meals that you consume, outsource those. Find a meal delivery company. I mentioned MegaFit meals. Yes, I don't get anything from them for recommending them. So I just want to be transparent about that. That's just a company that I've loved. I've used for years, had clients use it. They've enjoyed it. Plenty of protein options available with at least 35 grams of protein. All their meals taste great. Look into them or somebody like them. And number 5, liquid calories for all your meals. And this will sound kind of contradictory because I mentioned protein shakes earlier, right? For a snack midday when time is limited, we're okay there. Okay. But I often see people try to consume too many of their meals where everything becomes liquid based. And there's a combination of things that'll happen there. Is usually these things don't have enough calories in them, as I mentioned earlier, like with that plant-based protein shake. And I'm not knocking plant-based protein by any stretch of the imagination. There's a lot of value there especially if somebody's a vegetarian or vegan. But the calorie content is so low in those to help fuel them for the demands of their day. And even in just the basic demands of their body without taking into account like any physical activity or things of that nature, they typically tend to be too low in calories to fuel them up enough during the day. And then in addition to that, versus solid food, where solid food is going to be better for satiety, digestion, and sustained energy. Okay. So when you can, go with the solid food option. If you're at clinic, you're at the hospital, like, hey, you got to do what you got to do. Protein shake's a great option. Roll with that. Make sure if you're not connected with me or not following me, please do so on here on LinkedIn. I love connecting with people and, especially surgeons, and learning more about what your life is like, and seeing what you post and your content. It's really fun for me to check out. And if you're a surgeon who's working hard but not seeing the results you want, then DM me nutrition. I'll personally reach out to you with a couple of questions to see if my Surgeon Vitality Blueprint program might be the right fit for you. And if it's not, that's fine. We'll part ways as friends. I'll make a recommendation for somebody that's within your area, if I have a connection out in that area, or online that I think would be a good fit for you, and we can go from there. But I hope you have an awesome day, have an awesome weekend, and thank you for attending. Really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing everybody next time.